So you're looking to know the best romance options in Baldur's Gate 3, but you don't want to be story spoiled and you really want to know without having major spoilers. Well, that's exactly what you're going to be getting in this video guide. I'm going to be ranking every single romance in Baldur's Gate 3. I have over 100 plus hours in 1.0, have watched every romance scene, so I'll be able to guide you through every step of the way of which romances you should go for in your first playthrough, which ones you should save for a second or third playthrough, and which ones are memes and you should skip altogether. So let's get right into the content. And please know that this is fully timestamped and chaptered, so you can go to any of the options that you're most interested in. So the first romance option we're going to be looking at for Baldur's Gate 3 is Astarion. What do I think about Astarion? Honestly, even though Astarion is a really popular romance option in Baldur's Gate 3, I wouldn't recommend it for your first playthrough. Personally, Astarion actually was more interesting to me at the beginning of the game, and the more and more I learned about him, the more and more I thought it was a weaker option. Now, this is going to be very divisive in the community. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of comments. Go ahead and make that comment down below. But a lot of people love Astarion and find his romance option to be really good. I think the romance scenes are quite good. I think some of the story is quite good, but honestly, Astarion just didn't hit it off with me too well. All I'm going to be saying here is the stuff that you're going to learn in the first hour or two of the game, so I'm not going to be delving into too many spoilers. But I will say Astarion has a very dry British sense of humor. I think that he's someone, if you watch the show House MD, or you love watching like British dramas, like BBC dramas, you're probably going to really like Astarion's romance scenes. So, that's kind of a guide on if you are going to like Astarion. But for me, he didn't hit it off. He's not in S tier. He's not a bad romance option, and I don't think he's meme worthy by any stretch of the imagination. But I'm going to be putting him in A for average because I feel that's pretty much where he deserves. He does have enough positives to kind of push him above bad, but he's not really there in my opinion. And really, you know what? I'll actually put him at the top of B for bad and the bottom of A. So he's top of B, bottom of A. That's kind of where I'm at. These specific ones, S is going to be like my absolute best romance options in Baldur's Gate 3. You should go for one in your first playthrough. A is going for, an average romance option that I think was very well written and well performed, but just not for me. And then anything below this is going into kind of what I feel didn't work for me. So Astarion didn't really hit it off for me, so he's going to be at the top of B for bad, bottom of A. So now we're going to be looking at the DROW twins. Now, I don't want to give any spoilers about this. This is not a full romance option. This is just a temporary companion, you could say, that you have at a certain point in the game. It is very interesting. I really like how it was done. I was kind of surprised when I got this option. And just the way it was done was kind of more like a old school RPG, where it's kind of, you kind of get some dialogue. You get some like written dialogue about it. I really think the DROW twins are really, really cool. Their personality is really, really cool, and I like them a lot. I'm going to be putting them A for average. Just know that you're only going to be getting a very select amount of time with these twins. Obviously, the twin fantasy is big for a lot of people, so I think this is still going to be a very, very popular option. But this isn't a main romance, and I have to be very, very clear about that. There's going to be several of these in the list, and I'll be actually listing off which ones are actually small side romances and which ones are main romances. But I do think the DROW twins really worked for me. The writing was really good, the voice direction was really good, and I like the DROW twins quite a lot. Now we're getting on to Gale. What do I think about Gale? Guys, I know people say like Gale is the easiest character in the game. You get in romances with Gale without even trying. None of that matters because honestly, my man Gale is S for Steamy. Gale is incredible, guys. Gale is incredible. Honestly, I don't feel like Gale is the ultimate buddy. Like as a guy, I feel like he's the ultimate buddy. I really relate to Gale and I love Gale. I honestly love Gale. And if a guy can love Gale, like can really relate to him, then women are going to like Gale. I'm going to tell you that right now. And Gale is awesome. I really think he's awesome. He's maybe not as like, I guess you could say conventionally sexy, like maybe like Wyll would be or Shadowheart. But Gale has the heart of a lion. I love Gale so much. He's an absolute banger. His story is incredible. His, quest for redemption is insane. And what you'll learn about him in the story, I mean, he's again, we're not going to have many spoilers here, but he's been in some romances with deity level characters. So that just shows you how much Gale's charisma is in this game. So I love Gale. S+ tier, steamy, 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 incredible. The Guardian. Now, the Guardian is another romance option that isn't fully fledged out, but it is good, and I like the Guardian quite a bit. It's going to be going probably in the A for average tier for me, and just to explain a little bit why, I do think that the Guardian actually, you have kind of a good build up to it, and I think that's what makes this romanceable option work, is because you've been working through, and kind of talking with the Guardian since the very start of the game. So when you finally meet them and actually kind of learn the backstory of the Guardian, it does work. The Guardian works for me. I do like the Guardian. I feel like maybe we should have had a few more scenes with the Guardian through the course of the game. The scenes we did get were really, really good and well directed, but I did feel they were a bit anemic. I felt like if we had maybe 3 to 5 more scenes over the course of the game with the Guardian, I think it would even improve the game quite a bit. So yeah, I definitely think that was something that was a missed opportunity, but the Guardian was absolutely still really cool for a romanceable option. And yeah, I like the Guardian a lot. All right, next let's go to Halsin, and we'll cover some of the minor options later. Let's go to Halsin next. Halsin is probably the most infamous romance scene in the game. So Halsin with the bear scene. Now, I want to say this about Halsin, because everybody always says about the bear scene with Halsin. You probably, even if you haven't played the game, you probably heard about the bear scene. So Halsin has romanceable options in both his animal form, since he's a druid, and in human form. So this isn't really spoilers. Again, you probably already seen the bear scene because it's so infamous in the community. But Halsin is an incredible romance option. I'm not a big fan of Halsin's personality. I'll tell you that much right now. But Halsin is really, really cool when it comes to the romanceable options. And I feel like it's really unfair if I don't put him in S tier. He is going to be the bottom of S tier for me. And I'm going to explain why. It's just because personality-wise, I don't find him as good as like Gale and some of the other ones I'm going to be talking later that's going to go into S for Steamy. So he will be at the very bottom of S tier, and I want to make that clear. But Halsin, in his human form, guys, actually the human form romances, I think, are the best romance options for Halsin. And Halsin is one of the few characters also that basically you can have other characters in with him, if that makes sense. So you can actually romance multiple characters. Most characters in the game, if you try to do this, they will not be cool with it. So Halsin is one of the few that will, and he is a main romanceable option. He is a really good option. Definitely is one of those people that if you're a nature level, you're probably going to love Halsin's romance option quite a bit. I did feel like personality-wise, I couldn't connect with him as much as Gale. I think Gale makes a lot more sense in terms of his characterization. But Halsin, just in terms of the romance options, is really solid. Specifically, in my opinion, the human form romance is the best, romance scenes, I guess you want to say. So definitely look out for that. And if you pick Halsin, go for the human romance scenes. I think they're some of the best in the game, personally. All right, now we're going to be going on to Karlach. Karlach, it doesn't matter if she's a companion tier list, romance tier list, whatever she's in. I think Karlach's voice actress was the best in the game, bar none. I don't think anybody did a better job. And Karlach is the best character in Baldur's Gate 3, in my opinion. Come at me, bro. Let me know in the comments if you agree. Hopefully I have some Karlach supporters in the comments, but I'm sure there's going to be some haters too. She's going to be going above. She's going to be going above Gale and definitely way above Halsin. She really deserves her own tier. She's like an S+++ tier. And Karlach is one of those people that she has the heart of gold, even though she has a very tough exterior. I think just as a companion in general, Karlach is amazing. For men and women both, I think Karlach is like the ultimate buddy, the ultimate romance option. I think Karlach is just incredible. If you play this game and you don't know who you should romance, go for Karlach. It doesn't matter if you're a male, female, whatever you want to say. In real life, I think Karlach is probably the best romance option to experience for your first time in Baldur's Gate 3. I just want to put that out there right in her, part of the video. She is absolutely incredible, and I love her. Now we're going to be going to Lae'zel. Now, this is going to be really divisive, guys. This is going to be really divisive. C for can't watch for Lae'zel. Lae'zel, to me, even though I really like her character, I really like the strong warrior aesthetic. I really like Lae'zel. The problem about Lae'zel, I feel like, in terms of romance, is she's very pushy in how she does things. And even though she does soften up over the course of her romance options, so she will get more romantic, I guess you could say, as the romance kind of progresses. I don't think Lae'zel is a good option for your first playthrough. I don't even know if I would really pick her for your second or third playthrough. Because if you were to pick, let's say, like Karlach for your first playthrough, I would definitely say go with Gale or Halsin for your second or third playthrough. Even Astarion, I would say probably gives you a better experience than Lae'zel. I really hate to say it, but just like Shadowheart was really the creeper for me, and she kind of crept up on me and got better and better as I played the game, Lae'zel kind of was like an inverse to this. And the more I played Baldur's Gate 3, the more I felt like Lae'zel didn't hit it off. Her personality, in my opinion, is too flippy floppy, too conflicted, because you have this really tough exterior. She's definitely got a softer side underneath. But unlike Karlach, it doesn't feel as organic, the transition. So it kind of feels like Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde kind of situation going on with Lae'zel. I'm sure I'm going to get a lot of hate comments for this. I know a lot of people love Lae'zel. I really love the Gith Yankee lace, specifically in Baldur's Gate 3. I think it's awesome and really cool, and I think there's a lot of cool scenes. But Lae'zel as a romance option does fall a little bit short for me, and I hate to say that, but it's just the truth. Now we're going to be going to Minthara. Now, Minthara is, in my opinion, one of the best romance options in the game, and her progression is really, really good. But this is the thing. I can't put her any higher than A. The reason I would put Minthara only in A is what you have to give up to get with Minthara. So to actually get with Minthara, you have to do some really evil things in this game. I can maybe do a guide if people are interested in exactly how you get her romance options. But again, because it's a non-spoiler guide, I don't want to delve into that. But what I will say is you have to be a sadistic person to get with Minthara. You are going to lose other companions. So you're going to lose a significant number of other companions. So you really, when you go with Minthara, the amount you're giving up is really huge. The payoff is also huge. But since you have options like Karlach and Gale that really give you this huge payoff without paying in that much. Gale, there is a little bit of payment with the magical artifacts thing. Again, we're not going to get into spoilers, but there is a bit of a cost to kind of keep Gale around. But Karlach and other companions, basically no cost. So I will say this. Minthara, I really want to put an S, but I'm going to put it A because I feel like for the majority of players, this is the number one thing I want to say too is this is a terrible option for your first playthrough. Do not pick Minthara for your first playthrough. You're giving up too much. You're giving up too many other characters' side stories. It's just too much. And Minthara, even though you can interact with her in Act 1, you're really not going to get her as a playable character until Act 2. So she's got the same thing. She's got the same problem with Minsk and Japhira. If you want to go check that out, check out my companion guide. I'll link it. I should be linking it right now, actually. And yeah, so definitely check that out. But because of that, I have to put Minthara a little bit lower than what I would like to put her in. Now we're going to MIZORA. There's a lot of options here that are kind of minor options, to be honest. MIZORA, you're going to get Wyll really angry. We're not going to dive into spoilers here, but you're going to get Wyll really, really angry. MIZORA is a good romance option, but she's a minor romance, guys. This isn't a full character arc romance. She is a good romance option. Some of the scenes are really disturbing. They're really out there. If you like Berserk, if you like heavy, dark, anime, you like, let's say, like Warhammer 40K, you're gonna like MIZORA's like romance scenes a lot. For those with a little bit of a weaker stomach, you're not gonna like it. It's gonna be way, way too intense for you. I would say I'm gonna put her right here. I'm gonna put her right here, actually below Minthara. Minthara is definitely top of A tier. There's no question in my mind about that. I think MIZORA is a little bit below Minthara. I think Minthara is better because you get kind of the softening side. You start to actually see like her backstory on Minthara, and this is more of a fully fledged romance. This is just kind of a one-nighter kind of situation. But MIZORA, definitely for the betrayal aspect with Wyll and everything, it's going to be good. It's going to be really good, guys. Okay, now we're going to get to the two main characters, and then we're going to tackle what I think are kind of the two least romance options in the game, kind of. All right, so now we're going to be going on to Shadowheart. Now, Shadowheart, in my opinion, Shadowheart is another one that I think deserves the S tier. Now, she's going to be the last one I'm going to be putting in the S tier because I really want to make this for only the very best options in the game, but I cannot not put Shadowheart here. In my opinion, is it Gale or is it Shadowheart? Is it Gale or is it Shadowheart? It's going to be Shadowheart. So I think obviously this is a male-female thing too. If you're a female, you're probably going to be pulling Gale and Halsin a little bit higher here. They're tied, dude. They're tied. Honestly, Shadowheart Gale is honestly tied in my opinion, and Karlach is the best romance in the game. That's in my opinion what it is. But Shadowheart is incredibly good. I love Shadowheart. So basically what happens with Shadowheart and what makes her so engaging is that when you start the game out, Shadowheart is not that engaging of a character. And actually, when I first started playing Baldur's Gate 3, I really wasn't into Shadowheart's personality that much at all. Because she's kind of hard to please when you're first getting to know her. But once you break past that and you actually start understanding the character on a fundamental level, Shadowheart is amazing. And if you actually... again, it's hard to talk about this without delving into spoilers, but I will say if you actually can convert Shadowheart to the light and actually get her to realize her true nature, there may be no more impactful emotional scenes in Baldur's Gate 3 than that. All I'm going to say on that, Saluna, Saluna, Saluna. For those of you who know, you know. And for those of you don't know, you're going to figure it out. But yeah, definitely Shadowheart, incredible romance option. Definitely amazing option to go through in your first playthrough. I think, really, in my opinion, I think Karlach, Shadowheart, and Gale is your three best options for a first playthrough. They're all going to give you absolutely amazing, not only romance, because it's something always people say is like, oh, well, what are like the actual romance scenes, sex scenes like? That's not really what it's about, guys. What it's about is characterization. What it's about is actually making you feel like these companions have grown together in a natural way in your party. And that's why I think Karlach, Shadowheart, and Gale are the three best options in the game, just in my opinion. So now let's get on to what I feel like are some of the weaker options, honestly. Wyll. He's going to be going in bad along with Astarion. And I hate to say it, I love my boy Wyll. He's a real buddy character. But when you get into the romance options with Wyll, I feel it kind of falls far short. I don't know if it was the voice acting, the actual dialogue itself, like the written dialogue. Something didn't mesh with me with Wyll. And I really, even though I love Will's backstory, the Blade of Frontiers, everything with him is really cool. His interactions with Karlach are really cool. MIZORA, a lot of stuff we won't talk about because we're not getting into spoilers. But Wyll is a really cool character. But in terms of romance, I have to give it a hard pass. You should wait until like your third or fourth playthrough. You should really explore other options before you go for Wyll, because I think you're going to find something that's a little bit underwhelming, in my opinion. And I just don't think Wyll stacks up compared to a lot of these better romance options. So for me, Wyll did not hit it out of the park. So for me, I would give Wyll a pass. I just feel like I want to say that he's going to be really amazing, but I just think he doesn't hit it out of the park, and I would give it a pass until a later playthrough. It's just not the best option in Baldur's Gate 3. Okay, now we're getting to some of the least engaging options in Baldur's Gate 3 for romance. We're going to go NAOISE or NAOISE. I always have kind of a hard time pronouncing her name. Even though she's a visually very engaging character, I really don't feel that they did that great of a job with this. This is definitely not a full romance. I want to be very clear about that. But NAOISE is in the info meme. I really don't think this contributed much to the game. I did like the scene for the first time playing through, but that's about it, guys. You kind of watch it once and then you're like, yeah, that was, I guess, something. But I feel like if you make a romance option, or if you make kind of something like this in Baldur's Gate 3, you should expand on it a little bit. It should have some impact. And NAOISE didn't have much impact at all for me. So I'm going to put her in the info meme. I really think that you can honestly skip the scene and basically be just as well off. It just didn't have almost any impact on me at all. And now we're going to go to HAARLEP. HAARLEP is another one that's going to be in the info meme. This is not another major romance. This is a minor, one-nighter kind of romance option. HAARLEP in the House of Hope, just in general, you kind of, again, we can't go too much into it, but Raphael is the one that there should have been a romance option for, in my opinion. I think that would have been a much stronger storyline and something that I would have liked to see, because Raphael is kind of built up so much in the game. HAARLEP is kind of like, who is this guy and why is he a romance option? It was meme worthy. I don't think you should do this scene. Even after watching this scene, I was like, I didn't even enjoy this. So would not recommend that. I think HAARLEP is a really, really weak option. It should have been Raphael in the House of Hope. That's just my opinion. Okay, guys, so now we're going to actually do a TLDR, sum up what my thoughts are. For those of you that didn't watch the whole video, this is where I try to give you my condensed thoughts. So basically, in my opinion, for your first playthrough, you should pick one of 3 main characters for your romance options. That would be Karlach, Shadowheart, or Gale. I think Karlach is the absolute best. She is an S+++ tier. If you don't know which romance option to pick, definitely pick Karlach. Then it comes down to Shadowheart and Gale. Now, if I could, I would put these exactly tied. I think that either if you're male or female, I think these are both equally good. The characterization is amazing. The writing is amazing. The dialogue is amazing. The actual voice acting is amazing. The actual scenes are amazing. Incredible. Both of these romance options are incredible. If you don't pick Karlach, pick one of these 2 for your first playthrough. And if you do pick Karlach, pick one of these 2 for your second and third playthrough. They are the best romance options in the game. Now we're going to be getting to what I think would be like maybe third playthrough material, which would be Minthara is who I would recommend, or Halsin. Minthara, you have to give up more, but I feel the romance does have a bit more punch, and I love Minthara's romance options. And just her as a companion, I think is incredible, and how you learn about her connection to Loth and everything like that. But yeah, we're going to, again, spoilers, but yeah. Halsin, on the other hand, I think he's incredible. His romance options could be up there, honestly, with Karlach's. But I don't think personality-wise he's as good. And for me, I think that's a huge part of the whole romance scene. Is not just the romance scenes itself, but how much I relate to them as a character. And I just didn't relate with Halsin as much. But his human form romance scenes, incredible. Bear scenes, infamous. Halsin is a good option. Everybody else, I would really keep for a later playthrough or just avoid entirely. Lae'zel, Wyll, I think kind of on that place that, like, I don't know how much mileage you're going to get out of these romance options, and you may regret it. Astarion's definitely worth a watch for one time. And most of these ones, like MIZORA, the DROW twins, Guardian, are in this tier because I thought they were actually really engaging. But the problem is they are minor romance options. They're not fully fledged out. So it's really hard to put them into S tier, regardless of how much I like them or didn't like them. So I hope this tier list helped you. Let me know what you think down in the comments below, and hit that like and subscribe button. Less than 1% of my viewers are subscribed. You would be a hero to me today if you hit that subscribe button. Thank you again so much, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.